claim your spousal Social Security benefit at 64 instead of 67, and you lose 25% every month for life. Real dollars gone. I'm Margaret Hale, and for 30 years, I watched couples make this exact mistake because nobody at the counter explained the spousal benefit rules clearly. Here's the truth. A spousal benefit can be worth up to 50% of your husband's or wife's full retirement age benefit, not the bigger number they'd get by waiting until 70. Most people don't know that. Divorced folks often qualify too, sometimes without their ex ever finding out. Today I'm walking you through the real deadline, the exact steps to claim correctly, and a checklist you can use before you ever call Social Security. Let's get started. Here's the deadline that matters most: your full retirement age, or FRA. For anyone born in 1960 or later, FRA is now 67, the final step in a phase-in that's been rising for years. Why does this date matter so much? Because spousal benefits stop growing the moment you reach it. Unlike your own retirement benefit, which earns about 8% more for every year you delay past FRA up to age 70, a spousal benefit gets 0 credit for waiting. Claim it at 68, 69, or 70, and you get the exact same check as if you'd claimed it at 67. So the real deadline isn't a form due date. It's the day you turn 67. After that, there's no reason to wait. Step 1. Know your ceiling before you file. A spousal benefit tops out at 50% of your spouse's primary insurance amount, the benefit they'd get at their own full retirement age. In 2026, the maximum possible retirement benefit at FRA is $4,150 a month, which makes the maximum spousal benefit $2,076. But reaching that number is rare. It requires your spouse to have earned at or above the maximum taxable amount, $184,500 in 2026, for at least 35 years. Most families will land well below that ceiling. Ask your spouse or check their Social Security statement online for their actual FRA benefit amount. Multiply it by half. That's your real starting number, not a guess. Step 2. Understand the one or the other rule, officially called deemed filing. If you're eligible for both your own retirement benefit and a spousal benefit, Social Security does not add them together. You get whichever amount is higher, period. Filing for one is treated as filing for both automatically. This trips up a lot of people who assume they'll collect their own check plus half of their spouse's. It doesn't work that way. If your own benefit is $1,400 and half your spouse's is $1,700, you'll receive $1,700 total, not $3,100. Before you file, compare both numbers side by side. Whichever is bigger is what you'll actually get paid, so plan your household budget around that single larger figure. Step 3. Know who has to file first. If you're married, your higher-earning spouse must already be receiving their own Social Security benefit before you can collect a standard spousal benefit. There used to be a workaround, file and suspend, where the higher earner could file suspend payment and let their own benefit keep growing while you collected spousal benefits. Congress closed that loophole with the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015. It no longer exists. Here's the good news if you're divorced. This filing first rule doesn't apply to you. You can often claim on an ex-spouse's record even if they haven't filed yet, as long as certain time limits are met, which I'll cover next. Step 4. Understand that claiming early costs you more as a spouse than it would on your own record. A standard retirement benefit drops by 0.59% per month for the first 36 months you claim early. A spousal benefit drops faster, 25.36% per month, about 8.33% a year. Here's what that looks like in real numbers. Claim your own benefit at 64 with an FRA of 67, and you lose 20%. Claim a spousal benefit at the same age, same FRA, and you lose 25%. That extra 5 percentage points is money you never get back. If you're relying mainly on a spousal benefit, waiting until your FRA, not age 70, is almost always the better move. Step 5. If you're divorced, here's exactly what qualifies you. Your marriage must have lasted at least 10 years. You must currently be unmarried, and you must be at least 62 years old. If you've been divorced more than 2 years, you can claim on your ex's record even if they haven't filed for their own benefit yet. Here's the part that surprises people most. Your claim does not reduce your ex's check, and it doesn't touch their current spouse's benefit either. It's a completely separate calculation. Social Security also will not notify your ex that you filed. This is private between you and the agency. If you were married 9 years and 11 months, though, the answer is no. SSA enforces the full 10 years, no exceptions. Step 6. Watch what remarriage does to these benefits. If you remarry, you generally lose eligibility for divorced spouse benefits on your living ex's record, unless that new marriage later ends by death, divorce, or annulment. But there's an important exception for survivor benefits, which apply after an ex-spouse has passed away. If you remarry at age 60 or later, or 50 if you're disabled, you can still collect divorced survivor benefits on that deceased ex's record. Remarriage doesn't disqualify you in that case, so the rule depends entirely on whether your ex is alive or has passed and how old you were when you remarried. When in doubt, call Social Security directly before you say, "I do again." Step 7, if you or your spouse worked in a government job with a pension not covered by Social Security, there's news you need to act on. The Social Security Fairness Act, signed January 5, 2025, repealed 2 old rules: the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset. That used to shrink or completely wipe out spousal and survivor benefits for public sector retirees. Under the old government pension offset, nearly 70% of affected people lost their entire spousal benefit. The repeal applies retroactively to January 2024. By July 2025, Social Security had already sent over 3.1 million retroactive payments, totaling $17 billion. If you never applied before because the offset zeroed you out, you likely need to file a new application now. Call 1-800-772-2213 for the dedicated claims team. Step 8. If you're still working before your full retirement age, know the earnings test. In 2026, Social Security withholds $1 in benefits for every $2 you earn above $24,280 for the year. And this applies to spousal benefits too, not just your own. This isn't a penalty you keep paying forever. Withheld amounts are generally repaid to you later through a higher monthly benefit once you reach FRA. But it does mean that claiming a spousal benefit while you're still earning a solid paycheck can shrink your check more than you expect in the short term. If you're planning to keep working part-time in your early 60s, run the numbers before you file, so there are no surprises in your first check. Let's put it all together into one simple checklist. 1. Know your spouse's FRA benefit amount and calculate 50% of it. 2. Remember you get the higher of your own benefit or the spousal benefit, never both. 3. If married, confirm your higher earning spouse has actually filed. If divorced, check the 10-year and 2-year rules instead. 4. Avoid claiming spousal benefits before your FRA. There's no reward for waiting past it. 5. If a pension affected you under the old WEP or GPO rules, call Social Security and file a new application. 6. If you're still working, plan around the earnings test. None of these decisions should be made alone. Talk to a licensed advisor or Social Security directly about your specific numbers. If this helped, subscribe for more plain English retirement guidance every week.